Despite the unimaginable conditions and the challenges she faces as a Palestinian at this time in history, she never fails to show the world her indomitable spirit, always starting her report with, "It's Bisan from Gaza, and I'm still alive."
This is Bisan. I am still alive and talking to you from Gaza Strip.
Over 270 journalists and media workers have been killed in Gaza by Israel over the past 22 months. A horrifying reality, to say the least.
Thousands of media outlets, companies, etc., just neglecting and pretending not to see what is really happening, just just because they are not able to act against the genocide or to take brave actions or to do anything right. Actually, Gazan people, and not only me, everyone has anything to citate, to talk about, because we're telling the truth. Survival is just becoming harder and harder and more overwhelming every single day. Because Israel is just accumulating all the horrors, all the dire humanitarian situation, all the exhausting and all of the destruction for 2 years, and the situation is just getting worse. I had the honor to document Gaza Strip before being destroyed, and through this genocide, and inshallah, when we rebuild, inshallah. And here I'm not saying that our narration must take the validation from anyone on this planet, because after 2 years of the genocide, the whole world knew that we've been telling the truth. We've been handling it. We've been telling our narration. We've been handling and holding our stories for decades to tell them in the right time, or even telling them all the time, but not being heard enough, while anyone in the world can basically leave and surround and stop talking.
When it comes to holding Israel and its allies accountable, India, in this case, is one of these nations which is trying to play this balancing act of sorts. So what is your message to these nations?
Being non-biased and playing it safe and playing it balanced, it's not a choice, actually. It's just not being brave and strong enough to say no for the people and for the occupation coming after everything they want, even if what they wanted was you, your family, your land, your home, your country.
Over 270 journalists and media workers have been killed in Gaza by Israel over the past 22 months. A horrifying reality, to say the least. Hello and welcome to this special interview. This is Munif Khan, and today we bring you a conversation that goes beyond the headlines, a first-hand account from the ground in Gaza. We're joined today by none other than Bisan Owda, a prominent Palestinian journalist, and through her, we will hear what the world needs to understand about the realities on the ground. Thank you for speaking with us today, Bisan.
Thanks for hosting me, Munif.
So my first question, on August 25th, which is Monday, Israel killed 5 journalists in an attack at Nasser Hospital. On August 11th, Israel assassinated Al Jazeera correspondent Anas al-Sharif and 4 other members of staff members. Since October 7th, like I said, 270 journalists and media workers have been killed in Gaza. I want to understand of course, it is a naive question to ask as what are the dangers you face on ground, but what does the world fail to understand about this?
What does the world need to understand about this?
Yes.
Need to understand about it. The world needs to understand that Israel is not scared by anything. It's not scared by any leadership, by any government, by anything, like how it's scared from the truth and from the people of Gaza. Keep awakening the world and the free peoples around the world to shake this, to shake the pillars of this colonization called Israel in the area, not only in Palestine, not only in Gaza. After almost 80 years, not only 2 years of ethnic cleansing, The world needs to understand that by this, Israel is tending to silence what is even most horrific yet to happen, most horrific massacres and events and invasions yet to happen. Israel wants to totally blockade and keep it dark. Israel wants to commit all of these massacres, carry on ethnic cleansing, but maybe with more killings and more evacuations and more emptying of the places without any witnesses, without anyone telling the world what is really happening. So we see that Israel assassinates the correspondents and photojournalists and videographers right before any mass operation that it's planning to start, like what is happening now in Gaza City. By the way, Israel announced that they will occupy and demolish Gaza City, which is the last standing place on Gaza Strip, the high population density place in Gaza Strip right now. And right after it started its operation, it assassinated 6 journalists in one strike. It kept assassinating and killing people who can tell the truth, and it did the same in Khan Yunis. And of course, everything is deliberately and happening. It's not mistaken. Yani Israel commits, or Israel's strikes are like surgical targeting and strikes. It cannot be mistaken. Nothing is mistaken. Israel is doing everything after doing its math, how this will affect the Palestinians' will and spirit, and it affects how it will affect the amount of truth and amount of reality and documentation will reach the world. So this is what the world needs to understand.
But I also wanted to add to that. These journalists were working on behalf of some of the most renowned media organizations across the world. But there has been enough criticism that, these media organizations did not show them the same solidarity which they should have on their behalf. And I would say this in my personal capacity that if we have seen it in the past in any other war, if journalists were killed, the same media organizations would fight tooth and nail for justice. But when it comes to the case of Gaza and similar conflicts, that does not seem to be the case. Why do you feel that is?
Because Gaza is the criteria. Gaza and the Palestinian cause are the criteria of how media outlet, how a government, how a company is it just a complicit in a genocide, accepting to be complicit in a genocide, just like this whole colonial system, a capitalist system, or it's standing by the truth because this is the right side of history. So Gaza is the criteria. It's the judgment tool of everything. Actually, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this because I am in Gaza. I'm not saying this because I am running with my people after an owner, for example, or I'm exaggerating. I'm saying this because this is the truth we've been seeing and witnessing actually since the beginning of the genocide. Thousands of media outlets, companies, etc., just neglecting and pretending not to see what is really happening, just to not act, just because they are not able to act against the genocide or to take brave actions or to do anything right, actually. So why is this happening in the case of Gaza? Because the action is just stronger and needs braver people to take, which is to tell the truth, to adopt the Palestinian narration, to stop the Zionists when they are trying to justifying everything happening and everything they are committing against the Palestinian people. So for me, this was acceptable, expectable, and what I want the world to do right now in this moment is to not expect more of these media outlets and of the whole Western governments and media, because they have been silent for 2 years now, and they have been maintaining that the ethnic cleansing and the occupation is still in Palestine for 78 years, not telling the truth, calling us terrorists while we are the landowners that have been stripped of our rights and our existence, our homes, lands, future, and even past. So how do we expect anything different of people have been silent for the occupation, or about the occupation, for 78 years? Yeah, Gaza is the judgment of all of these people, and many failed. Many actually, many governments, companies, media failed. They failed the exam, and Gaza is still alive. Will be alive forever. The people of Gaza, of Palestine, will be alive. The truth will be alive, and they will be in the, as we say in Arabic, in the rubbish of the history. They failed.
And ma'am, coming to your work, Bisan, your series, it's Bisan from Gaza and I'm Still Alive. It's become a powerful symbol. It's become a very powerful symbol. Can you describe what you go through when you wake up each day and you try motivating yourself to record what is happening around you?
How it's how does it feel to survive? Okay, I know I must not say this. I need to be all the time like showing steadfastness and strength, but survival is just becoming harder and harder and more overwhelming every single day. Because Israel is just accumulating all the horrors, all the dire humanitarian situation, all the exhausting and all of the destruction for 2 years, and the situation is just getting worse every single day. Nothing is getting better. Israel is not stopping. Israel is just multiplying the destruction, the usage of new weapons, of killing people, of creating more and more dire situation every day that people cannot resist and cannot survive this situation. So for me and for my people, it's closer to be impossible to survive than ever. But at the same time, every day is a chance to survive all of this and to witness a free Gaza and a free Palestine and to witness justice finally. So for me, this is my tool, my one and only tool to tell and document the truth. And if I was not able to witness the justice and the freedom, maybe my people following me after me will be able to witness it. This is the only thing that makes me alive, gives me a glimpse of hope to continue seeking justice and seeking freedom for my people. That my documentation can help in. That's why I'm waking up every day, making sure that I have the food, the water, the shelter I need, and then start documenting or continue documenting my people's suffering and the messages behind my people's survival and Israel's cruel genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, and actually just continuing what I was doing before the genocide. Before the genocide, I was making a program on social media. It was called, and it is still called Hakawati. Hakawati in Arabic.
I have seen a bit of that. Yes, I do.
Yes, Hakawati means the storyteller, and the most beautiful story to tell is Gaza. Gaza, the very old city that witnessed the building of the new world, and created history somehow. So I had the honor to document Gaza Strip before being destroyed, and through this genocide, and inshallah after, inshallah when we rebuild, inshallah, yeah.
I can see that emotions are running high, and again, I cannot, I cannot describe how difficult this must be for you. But coming to your documentation and your work, more importantly, on the 8th of August, in an Instagram video of yours, you described it as the hardest video you would ever make. And this was regarding Israel's plan to take military control of Gaza City. Can you tell us? I mean, quite a few weeks have passed since then. Can you tell us what this means now in the present and what's happening?
Yeah, a couple of weeks passed since then, but the operation and the plans are still going and being formed and developed by the Israeli army every single day. So when the video on social media is finished, when a couple of weeks or a couple of months pass on this video, doesn't mean that the situation has got better, or that the plan itself or the thing itself has finished. It's just the video that has finished. So for me, it was and is still the hardest thing to tell or to warn about the occupation of Gaza City, which is again the highest population density place, the only standing place with the bare minimum infrastructure, which is some housing on the Gaza Strip, and one of the most or one of the oldest cities in the world, which is Gaza City. And here, I mean, all the neighborhoods of Gaza City in the east, in the west, and in the middle. Gaza City is like a government in Gaza Strip. It's by the Israeli map in the north of Gaza Strip, because Israel cut Gaza Strip into two parts: the north of Gaza Valley, which is north of Gaza City, three main towns: Beit Hanun, Beit Lahiya, and Jabalia. Then Gaza City itself. Then to the south of the valley, we have the middle area, Khan Yunis and Rafah. So Gaza City is very important for Palestinians because of three main things. First, it is literally the last place, as I said, with the bare minimum infrastructure, which is some places, some housing, not that much. You can see the aerial photos posted lately by the airdrop campaigns, for example, from Gaza City, and witness the huge amount of destruction. Despite this, Palestinians are still saying that Gaza City is the last standing, last building standing in Gaza Strip. That's number one. Number two, it's the highest population density, between 950,000 to 1 million people are now living in Gaza City. And actually, it's not decreasing, even despite the Israeli army now occupying and destroying the eastern neighborhood of Gaza City. Started with Shuja'iyya and Tufah, which are now demolished, 100% flattened. Now moving to Zaytun and Sabra and other neighborhoods in the middle of Gaza City, then moving to the west. People who were living in these areas after the Israeli army demolished their homes and occupied the places are now moving to the west of Gaza City because they don't want to repeat the displacement situation that lasted for 15 months to the south, waiting in tents to get back to their city again. So this is the second very important reason. The third reason, besides saying that it's one of the oldest places, it's really important for the region, for the Palestinian culture, will, and spirit, and cause. It's also the last inhabited place in the north of Gaza Valley, which means that it's going to be emptied to be occupied by the Israeli army, as they say all the time, occupy and annex. So we're not going to be able to return back to our city. And that's how it's freaking dangerous and terrifying to get out of a place that you were raised in, you built your future to live in, that you love, that you deserve, that you lived through all of this, um, uh, on a dream that you can return to and to rebuild your life in, and to not be able to get back to again. So this is how terrifying is the situation. It's not like going in a vacation for a year or 2 years out of your city, then getting back again, finding your home and your family, your friends, and your dog waiting for you at the door. No, it's not like that. Leaving a place in Gaza Strip for 2 years now, experiencing and knowing the truth and telling you the truth because we've been experiencing this. We have an experience actually on in surviving a genocide. And what does it mean to for your city or town to be erased? Leaving and emptying a place in Gaza Strip means uh, um, demolishing the place, military controlling it before annexing it. So that's why it's the hardest thing I could ever post in it. I could ever tell him, even think about. And unfortunately, it started, and there's not enough international and global actions to stop it. But unfortunately, it started, and not even much people are talking about it. Yani, the media is not talking about it enough. The media is distracted and talking about other massacres that are committed, like for example the massacre, both of the massacres where 11 of our colleagues got killed by the Israeli army. Like other massacres happened here and there, and then talking about the starvation, airdropping food, trying to enter food by land, and then targeting people while going to obtain food, etc., etc., etc. And everyone is distracted by this. I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but Israel is already occupying the Gaza City, and not enough media coverage is taking place about this locally or internationally. Locally, because Israel is targeting the journalists, and the journalists are being either injured or killed. And internationally, and they cannot, of course, reach these areas. Internationally, there are no international journalists inside Gaza, so much of the media outlets chose to not to talk about Gaza enough. And of course, outside, because they're talking about other issues, or they are neglecting Gaza city occupation on purpose. So it's happening right now. The city is being eaten slowly, 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 without enough coverage. And again, this is something I keep saying. I keep saying for myself and for the people around me, the collapsing of Gaza City is the collapsing of the entire world. And look, we've been telling you, we've been telling you everything about the things are going to happen even before they happen. But no one hear from us.
So I also wanted to ask about the question of starvation. Now there is no doubt that there is famine in Gaza, and you have talked a lot about how the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation has nothing to do with humanity. I want to understand from your point of view, can you talk about the systematic starvation imposed on Gaza by Israel, and what is the GHF's role in that?
Okay. First of all, let me continue the past point, which is I insist. I have told this for every interview I've made. I'm telling this to me, my people, and the world. Gaza collapsing is the collapsing of the entire world, because it's the last moral cause that the entire world must take care of, must resist for, must stand by, because it's happening on the eyes of the people, it's happening on the eyes of the entire world, and it's happening on front of the cameras. So it is documented for generations and generations. So the collapsing of Gaza City, the collapsing of Gaza Strip means not only the collapsing of the Palestinian cause, because after that Israel wouldn't have any limits. But also the collapsing of the entire world, because they needed to do something. They had the time to do something. They had all the means to know the truth, but no serious steps were taken to stop the genocide before the collapsing that already unfortunately started, which is the free fall that we are living now in Gaza City. And yeah, no serious steps were taken. So that's number one. Like, talking about the starvation, um, um, the colonization, my friend, is just using the same tools to kill the peoples, and to take their lands and to steal their freedom, to change our reality and to impose a new reality. Um, a couple of weeks ago, I was reading about the massacres committed by the British and the English people when they came to the Turtle Islands and started killing people there by starving them, indigenous peoples by starving them, and even killing the animals and changing the ecosystem around them, uh, just to kill them more and more. And over years, they killed about what 50 million people by starvation, by new viruses and epidemics came with the foreigners from outside of their lands, by many things. Israel is imposing the same techniques over the Palestinians for the past 7-8 decades, actually. And the British, of course, before them by imposing this fake mandate, but internally handling the power, the lands, the wealth, the authority for the Israelis, and preparing the land and the people by killing them, stealing their lands and their wealth to be handled to the Israelis before the Israel establishment in 1948. Now Israel, what is Israel using now is the starvation of the population, besides displacement and mass killing by bombings, artillery shells, targeting, etc., etc. And not only this, but because we caused all of this noise, we caused all of this trials by the world to help or to make a change. They, after that, tried and succeeded in controlling the ways of entering the aids and food by the world to the people of Gaza. So, which is by the GHF, for example, or by the airdrops, etc., etc. So they not only control the starvation, but also control the aids entering to the hospitals to take care of the children starving to death in the hospital beds, the food that is meant to reach the people who are for 2 years prevented from planting their food, fishing, having their work, so having any source of income, and then after controlling this food, targeting the people while trying to obtain this food, like what happened and what is still happening until now around the GHF distribution points. And of course, humiliating people and showing that they have zero power to obtain the bare minimum, which is food, by killing them, allow only very limited amounts of food. So they literally kill each others and fight over food, while Israel is targeting them and killing them around the distribution points, which are not enough So the GHF also humiliates the Palestinians, telling them that you cannot get even the bare minimum, you cannot even get the food without coming to the GHF distribution points, which only give like a very limited amount of food, while the Palestinians, hundreds of thousands of them, are running after this food and not being able to get enough. While being killed by the Israeli shooting. And all of this was documented by Palestinian videos and even international soldiers who worked in these concentration camps, let's say, not distribution, not a distribution points. So this is actually what is the starvation. The starvation is in engineering the starvation itself and taking the decision of imposing a starvation over a population. Then after that, controlling the means of food distribution and the aid distribution, and letting it only enter by the GHF. So it's controlled. People are being killed. Not enough food is entering, and of course, be benefiting from the aids financially, because which food is going to be distributed? It's the food of the Israelis and the Americans, and or their factories, and then their factories and their tools. So it's engineered. It's still ongoing. It's already declared as a famine by the WFP and other UN agencies, international agencies. It's not solved yet. It's not solved yet, unfortunately, and hundreds of thousands of children are at the peak, or they already passed it. They're now at the line of being of passing before the starvation, and dozens of thousands actually lost their chance to survive this, because the body cannot just interact like a turn on, turn off button in front of the starvation. It's a process, a painful, slow process of the body not being able to digest and to get better because of any food coming after months of starvation. So, yeah.
And I would like to come back to your work, and you won major awards like the Emmy and the Peabody and so on. But I wanted to understand from the point of getting a recognition from a global institution, what does that mean to you, especially at a time where there is such underreporting on the subject from international media?
Yeah. So, what does it mean to me? First of all, this prize, these recognitions are only for the souls of everyone we lost, the journalists we lost, the the more than 250 journalists we lost, all of these people who were brave enough to hold the camera and to tell the truth, while billions around the world are not brave enough to tell the truth. That's number one. So that word is their word, their word. It's not my word. For my people who are literally dying, losing their lives, starving to death, losing everything they know, they build, losing their city, losing their memories, their past, and mostly their future. So they can be heard, and anything would be taken to stop Israel. And that's number one. Number two, what does it mean to me? It does mean that finally we, as Palestinians, are heard, and our narration is valid. And here I'm not saying that our narration must take the validation from anyone on this planet, because after 2 years of the genocide, the whole world knew that we've been telling the truth. We've been handling it. We've been telling our narration. We've been handling and holding our stories for decades to tell them in the right time, or even telling them all the time, but not being heard enough. while anyone in the world can basically leave and surround and stop talking after decades of talking while no one is listening or doing anything. So we as Palestinians, we're not taking the validation from anyone. I'm not waiting for any award. Nothing can can determine if I'm gonna continue telling this and doing this and continue chasing the justice until we get it or not. No validation is enough for the Palestinians because we've passed this phase already. We've been telling the truth for decades and no one is hearing. Now, when we're heard enough, we're now waiting for validations. We're waiting for action, action and only. So yeah, this is what does it mean for me. It's a good recognition because it means something, at least for the people who are still waiting for validations and waiting for the Palestinians to be heard. But on the ground, what we need is beyond this. We need action. We need more people to talk about us and about our narration.
Bisan, you always speak without fear. But sometimes when I watch your work and so on, I do have this question in my mind that are there issues that even you hesitate to speak about, or is that not the case?
I don't remember anything that I was hesitate to talk about. Um, nothing, 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 because um, nothing is more like terrifying than what is happening now. Like we are living, or like we as people are living the worst scenario in our minds. I don't know about the worst minds. In our minds, we are living the apocalypse. This is the end of the world, the end of our city, the end of everything we know. We've been living in this city for the rest of our life, for the whole of our lives, and we were planning to live in the city for the rest of our lives. And this is our cause. This is our thing. This is our soul, Palestine and Gaza. And now everything is collapsing in front of our eyes. So I don't think that Gazan people, and not only me, everyone, has anything to hesitate to talk about, because we're telling the truth. If anyone is hesitated from telling the truth, that means they have problem they need to solve. They have problem they need to deal with. They need to put this problem in front of them and to ask themselves why I am scared. What left to be scared about? The world is collapsing. Come on, guys. I know that because we are inside this massacre, inside this closed box, uh, talking like the world is collapsing because our world is collapsing. The small, the closed world, which is Gaza, but I'm telling here in a literal mean. Um, Everything we knew about human rights, about solidarity, about where is our money going, where are our voices going, who is talking about us, who is talking on behalf of us, everything is a lie. So I'm literally saying it. If anyone is scared right now doing anything, they really need to solve this problem, because nothing more. The world we knew is collapsing. It's not only Gaza.
And this brings me to my final two questions. One is that what is your what is your message to nations around the world that are trying to play it safe when it comes to holding Israel and its allies accountable? India,
Mhm.
in this case, is one of these nations which is trying to play this balancing act of sorts. So, what is your message to these nations?
I don't think that uh, playing a balance act, as you said, or being non-biased is an option, because because it's you remember when in the cartoon in our childhood we had a good guy and a bad guy.
Yeah.
We're literally living this. It's a good guy and a bad guy. It's a good nation and a bad nation. It's a good occupied people and a bad occupying power. So being non-biased and playing it safe and playing it balanced, it's not a choice actually. It's just not being brave and strong enough to say no for the people and for the occupation coming after everything they want, even if what they wanted was you, your family, your land, your home, your country, or not. It doesn't matter for them. It's an occupation. It's a colonial expansion movement. So it doesn't any. They don't really care about who stands with them, who stands against them. It's uh, it's um, it's whenever they want to do something, who stands with them and against them. So if you're just trying to do a favor for someone, and then maybe try to take it back, no, Israel is not the right place, and the U.S. is not the right place to give a favor. I don't think you can play it safe. It's a war between good and bad. It's the battle that determines who will how this world will continue to exist, a bad place or a good place.
And finally, there are many thousands of people in our region that follow and share your work. Do you have a message for them?
A message. Okay, we have a Palestinian journalist. She is the godmother of all the journalists we know, and I know. She was killed also by the Israeli army, of course. Um, I wonder if anyone is killed by anyone else except the Israeli army. In Jenin, 3 years ago, her name was Shireen Abu Aqla. She is the first journalist that I have ever heard from. I was maybe I was 1 year old when I heard her first report in my life. And before she was killed by an Israeli soldier in Jenin, in the occupied Gaza, in the occupied West Bank, in 2022, she posted that the battle is a long one. It needs let me say it in Arabic. المعركة طويلة وبدها نفس طويل. It's gonna take so much time, and it needs, in Arabic we say, a deep breath or a long breath, which means how we can handle it, how we can be patient until we reach freedom and justice, etc. So this is what I want to tell the rest of the world about. This is the only thing that keeps us patient, still standing, and maybe I can say believers in freedom, in justice, which is believing that we will make the change, but it needs two things: patience, three things: strategy, patience, and consistency. Is it the word?
Consistent.
Which means, yeah. So this is the last message of a journalist that was killed by the Israeli army after 25 years of telling the truth, of telling the entire world about what is happening in the West Bank. She's from Jerusalem. She worked with Al Jazeera in the West Bank, and she was killed on front of the camera, just like the rest of the journalists we're losing now. So it's not new. And it's not the matter of 7th of October. It's not a matter of Gaza Strip. It's not. It's Palestine and Israel. It's the bad and good in the world. So that's it. Yani. It needs patience, and it needs not to act like everything will change tomorrow. And if it didn't change tomorrow, then I'm out. It's not something like that. It's harder because it's hard, because it's an occupation, because it's a colonization that is controlling an entire world. So yeah, it's hard, but it's inevitable that Palestine will be free at the end, for the Palestinians, only for the Palestinians.
I admire your strength, Bisan, and I really appreciate you taking out the time to join us. I do know the conditions you work under, and it's an honor to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much. And I hope
Welcome. Take care, Munif. Thanks for hosting me.